What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel, and college football is back. The first big full slate of games is taking place this week, and we got a couple of really interesting weekday matchups that I want to talk to you guys about, starting out with possibly no better one than this one right here. One of the top teams at the FCS level and one of the most hyped teams at the FBS level, and two very similar mascots. It's the North Dakota State Bison going on the road in Boulder, Colorado, to take on Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders, and the Colorado Buffaloes. We'll talk everything about this game in just a little bit. But before we do that, you guys know I have to thank you for all the love and support you have continued to show this channel throughout prediction season and as we've gotten in to the college football season as well. Please continue to show your support for the channel during the season. And again, if you're as big of a college football nerd as I am, you're going to want to watch all these predictions, hear everything I have to say. Easiest way for you to do that, go down below, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded. I want to thank you guys so much for not only watching this video, but for watching all my other videos. Again, especially watching this one, taking time out of your day to do so really does help support my channel, and you can help support the channel in more ways by liking, commenting, sharing, and anything else that may suit your fancy, as well as if you're interested in more than just my life as a content creator here on YouTube, and maybe my content creation elsewhere. My journey is to be a sports media professional. My journey as a sports media student here at the college where I go to. Please go follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at TailgateNate29. I'll be posting a lot of stuff about my life as a sports media professional. Maybe a post or two will be coming out today as well. But with all of that said and done, let's now dive on in and talk about the Bison and the Buffaloes here in this game in Boulder, Colorado. A lot of hype going into this one. And hey, if people are going around and picking their upsets, there are a lot of people that are going around picking this one as maybe North Dakota State has a chance to go on the road here and beat the Colorado Buffaloes, and they absolutely do. And before we dive on in, I got to tell you guys how we do predictions this year. We'll go ahead and take a look at what sort of the keys to the game are when each team has the football. So we'll take a look at the Bison offense versus the Buffalo defense, and then we'll flip it to look at the Buffalo offense versus the Bison defense, and then at the end of the video, I'll break it down a little bit more, give it a prediction, and that's how we do things around here. So again, the main reason that North Dakota State is going to be able to pull off a sort of upset here as we take a look at what happens when North Dakota State has the football first, they are really going to be able to punish this Colorado defense. And I'll talk about why here in just a little bit, but they got a ton of returning talent offensively here for this team, most notably at the quarterback position, Cam Miller and Cole Payton. Cam Miller's the guy you saw on that title screen just a little bit ago. But Cole Payton is again, another quarterback that's going to see playing time for North Dakota State this year as he did last year. Both of the guys can throw, but Cam Miller is the guy that's going to be throwing the football the most often for this Bison offense. No, this is an offense that loves to pound the rock. Both of those quarterbacks had at least 615 yards and 13 rushing touchdowns last season, as again, the Bison scored a ton of points, and they got a lot of really good running backs in that room here as well. A redshirt freshman in Chamar Brown, a senior in TK Marshall, and lots of other weapons that are just really, really deep in this running back room. You look at the wide receiver and I guess other pass catching room, tight ends, Joe Stoffel and Carson Williams will be coming back. Wide receiver room, you have Jackson Williams, who's a freshman this year. He's going to get some really big playing time. Tyler Terhark, Bryce Lance, Cade Osterman, and so many other really good players, Chris Harris, and a really, really good offensive line. This is a really deep, really good Bison offense led by their two quarterbacks, Cam Miller throwing the football, and both of those guys, especially when you throw, why am I blanking on his name already? Cole Payton. When you throw those guys in to be able to run the football as well, just adds such a big dynamic. And that's my first key to the game here. The run game is going to be punishing for the North Dakota State Bison, not only in this game, but throughout the season. As it relates to this game, yes, their run game is absolutely going to give Colorado hell because this was a rush defense that wasn't good last year. 176 rush yards per game. They didn't really get a lot of pressure in the backfield. They failed to get off the field on third down. And while the pass rush was fairly solid, 27 sacks, they did also force 20 turnovers. The defense was on the field a lot for Colorado, and more often than not, they failed to win the line of scrimmage play. They're probably going to need to force some turnovers here in this game, going to need to get pressure is, again, the Bison offensive line. Had some questions last year. They allowed 20 sacks, which a little bit more than usual for that program, but they usually pump out really good talent from the offensive line anyway. They averaged 7 yards per play last year, and Colorado, again, just was not a great defense last year. The Bison may be able to use the pass game here in this game as well, as the Buffalo pass defense was just not very good. However, when you talk about Colorado, there is a lot of improvement that is going to be made here on the defensive end because you brought in a ton of transfers. Pretty much your entire two deep is new transfers. Now, you do have a couple nice returning players like Shane Cokes on the defensive front, and that's where I want to start for Colorado because I just mentioned, look, it was a struggle to win the battle at the line of scrimmage, either offensively or defensively for the Buffaloes last season. Well, there's a lot of good talent here that comes in through the portal, and I think this Colorado D-line is going to be able to break through. Not only do I think it's going to be better than it was last year, but I also think that North Dakota State's offensive line will also, again, probably be better, but especially within this first game, when you go ahead and you take a look at some of the issues their offensive line had last year with how much Colorado's defensive front is improving, Colorado can get back to that backfield, and they can be able to slow down that run game, provide pressure to the quarterback position. You got guys like B.J. Green, Dayan Hayes, Anquin Barnes, Ryan Buell. I probably will butcher this name, but Chidozie Nwankwo, and so many other guys that come in through the portal that are going to be able to help out this Buffalo pass rush. Even some guys in the linebacker room like Levante Bentley and Trevor Woods, both of whom come back. Johnny Chaney, Jalen Wester, and others there that are really going to be able to help out this pass rush. But the Buffalo defense, I said it earlier, was on the field a lot last year. You got to get off the field early and often. Not a good team on third down last season, and North Dakota State was excellent on third downs. That's going to be a trend that has to change for Colorado if they want to try to keep this Bison offense at bay as much as they can. Again, the big key for Colorado is how are you going to slow down this Bison run game? How are you going to be able to get pressure? How is your defensive line going to win that battle at the line of scrimmage? Because if Colorado can do that, you're going to significantly reduce the chances of North Dakota State being able to pull off an upset here. But North Dakota State is not just a good offensive team, they're also a really, really good defensive team as we now switch over to when Colorado has the ball and some keys here. Obviously, we know what Colorado possesses on the offensive end. And I even failed to mention there in that previous slide, Travis Hunter, who's going to be able to be a lockdown secondary member. Shiloh Sanders is there as well. Colorado's got some good players in the secondary as well as some good transfers like DJ McKinney and Preston Hodge that will be playing good football for them this season. That can slow down the passing attack for the Bison, but again, big key for the Buffaloes, slowing down that run game. Offensively, though, you still got Shedeur Sanders. It was one of the best pass games, not only in the Pac-12 last year, as now Colorado enters the Big 12, but in the entire country last season, and Shedeur Sanders does come back. He was an incredible force last season, was a really, really, really good quarterback for this team, but again, running the football here. This is the North Dakota State team that didn't allow much on the ground, but Colorado has to have a better run game than they had last season. Only 63.6 yards per game, which is not good. And I think they only averaged 2 or 3 yards per carry last year. The run game overall just was not there, but this was an offense that limited the amount of turnovers. But again, line of scrimmage play is what hurt Colorado last year. Shedeur Sanders got hit left, right, and center. 56 sacks allowed by this offensive line, which just simply cannot happen again this season. Colorado's offensive line, however, going to be a little bit better. They have Jordan Seaton, who's a great and uber talented freshman coming in who's going to get the start there at left tackle. Tyler Brown is coming back. Justin Mayers, Khalil Benson are guys that enter through the portal. A lot of depth enters through the portal as well. So the offensive line, I think, is going to see its improvements this year. But my first key for the Buffalo offense is Sanders Sanders is going to be tested versus a group of punishing defensive backs and a pass rush that, again, got home 39 times to the quarterback last season for North Dakota State. They also forced 27 turnovers, and they really were good at getting off the field for the most part last season. Couple games here and there where their third down defense just wasn't quite as good. The defense was on the field a lot. That's what Colorado's going to look to have. Sustain these long drives. And look, Sanders has got a lot of really good weapons around him. Travis Hunter, of course, you mentioned him. He plays corner, also is a really good wide receiver. Jimmy Horn comes back. You have guys like Will Shepard, Terrell Timmons, Cordell Russell that are coming in through the transfer portal. But this is a defensive side here that, look, has a lot of really good pass rushers, has a lot of really good members in that secondary. They do lose an FCS All-American, though, whose name I unfortunately am blanking on. But regardless, this is the defense for the Bison that's still going to be uber talented. They're going to be uber aggressive. They are going to want to win the line of scrimmage battle. And honestly, if I told you right now, they probably have the advantage in that, not only offensively when the Bison have the ball on offense, but defensively as well. Again, they got a lot of really good pass rush members, and with the way Colorado's offensive line struggled, it's going to get better this year. How much does it improve, though, and how much does it show its improvement in week one is the big question that has to be answered, because that is key number two. Again, the offensive line has got to be better. With or without pressure, Shedeur Sanders is going to get tested because this pass rush is good. And even if Colorado's offensive line is so much improved, I mean, 10 times better than it was last season, there's still going to be moments where this Bison pass rush is going to get home. There's still going to be moments where the DBs make good plays on the ball. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to see Sanders throw a pick or two here in this game just because of how talented North Dakota State's defense is. But when you take a look at Colorado, again, trench play is as important as ever for the Buffaloes this season. Not only does the offensive line have to get better, the running backs have to do a little bit of a better job there as well. You do have Charlie Offerdahl coming back. Dallin Hayden's an Ohio State transfer, guy that I think is going to be uber talented for this rushing attack. So you got those two guys back there that hopefully will lead this rushing attack to be more successful than it was last year. But this maybe is leading into my prediction a little bit here. I think there's too much skill for the Buffaloes offensively. Now, offensively, when you're trying to match it up against this North Dakota State Bison defense, right? I think Colorado wins that battle. You got Travis Hunter, you got Shedeur Sanders, you have Jimmy Horn, you have Offerdahl, you have Hayden, you have a revamped offensive line that I think is going to see improvement. And yeah, maybe they lose the trench play, but as long as Shedeur Sanders can continue to do what he did last year and get the ball out to his talented wide receivers like Hunter, like Horn, like some of these transfers that they brought in, like O'Marion Miller, Colorado's going to be just fine here on this side of the ball. It's the other side of the ball they got to worry about. If they are going to let North Dakota State run all over them, this is going to be a very long game for the Colorado Buffaloes, as now it leads into my prediction. Again, this game is happening tomorrow. It's on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. The lines and odds, as of recording this video, are listed down there below. And Colorado, unsurprisingly, is the favorite, but maybe surprisingly to a lot of you, is not as favored by as much as some may think, considering an FBS over an FCS opponent. However, everyone knows the North Dakota State brand. They're going to play hard, and they are going to be just a huge force here, and they're going to be really hard to beat here. I think Colorado, however, does get it done. I think they win this one fairly high scoring, 37-34. I think the Bison offense is going to have a really good day. I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think they're going to be able to have a good day. They're going to win the trench play offensively, and they may even win it defensively. They're going to get back to Shedeur Sanders, get a couple sacks on him, force Colorado into some bad spots here. But I think at the end of the day, Colorado just has a little bit too much offensively. I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be fantastic. I think Travis Hunter is going to be fantastic. I think Jimmy Horn is going to be fantastic. A lot of these other playmakers that I haven't mentioned, especially in the tight end room, Sam Hart is a grad transfer, Savale Smalls, and this offensive line is going to be better than it was last season. Now, again, I don't think it's going to be super... how do I want to phrase this? It's not going to be like 10 times better, especially in week one, but it is going to be better. It's going to help Colorado win this game, and I think Shedeur Sanders, late score, gets it done. The Buffaloes beat the Bison in just a close, thrilling type game that I absolutely can't wait to watch. But I want to know what your guys' thoughts are in this game in the comment section down below. Remember to play hard but tailgate harder, and my next week one preview prediction coming out later on today as well. That is going to be North Carolina versus Minnesota. Goodbye.